Hello and welcome to the Lion King Learning Center. Today's lesson will be on different types of government as seen in The Lion King. In The Lion King, Simba's rule is widely considered to be in the form of an absolute monarchy, and Scar's rule is considered to be more of a fascist one. The question that I've set out to answer today is this really the case? We'll start with Simba's rule. The Lion King itself really wants you to think of Simba's rule as an absolute monarchy, which is a form of government where a single ruler holds absolute power over his or her subjects. To say that the movie goes overboard asserting this fact wouldn't be an exaggeration. The Lion King really
You as the new king.
You're the king.
You are my son, and the one true king.
wants you to know that this is in fact a monarchy. Even the Lion King wiki says that the ruler of Pride Rock is the formal title given to the absolute monarch of the Pride Lands. Being an absolute monarch, the king or queen is vested with full executive and judicial control. Scar's rule, however, doesn't really fit into this monarchy-driven description.
I will be king.
Not quite there, bud. Evidence from the movie can easily point his method of ruling in two significantly different directions: fascism and communism. Fascism is a nationalistic form of government with a strict class structure ruled by an all-powerful dictator, whereas communism is a system based around economic equality and advocates for a lack of class distinction. The first thing to come to mind when thinking of Scar and fascism is the stark similarity between Scar's song, Be Prepared, and Leni Riefenstahl's Triumph of Wills, which was Nazi propaganda. Scar also rules absolutely, which is characteristic of fascism, and his character was even inspired by Adolf Hitler, a fascist ruler. Fascism also calls for the state gaining glory through constant conquest and war, something not seen in Scar's rule. Fascism also calls for a class distinction, or a superior race, whereas Scar's rule shows the communist idea of a lack of class distinctions by having lions and hyenas on the same level. While communism calls for rule by the people, this hasn't been practiced in the real world, and a dictatorial ruler such as Scar isn't uncommon. One thing for sure about Scar's rule is that it's displayed as wrong by the movie, and that Simba's rule is displayed as right. But what if I told you that Simba's rule might not be the happy little monarchy the movie makes it out to be? There's a few things about Simba's rule in the Circle of Life doctrine that just don't make sense in the real world. Some of these are the hyenas going hungry, the elephant graveyard, and the complete inexistence of hyenas in the second movie. Now consider the following. This monarchy is really a genocidal apartheidistic state with lions sitting comfortably on top. An apartheidistic state is characterized by a rigid class system based on race. Let's begin by talking about the hyenas going hungry in the first place, even during the quote-unquote good ruling of Mufasa and Simba. If their rule did in fact take an apartheidistic form, it's not a long shot to say that the lions could easily be keeping resources from the hyenas that would realistically scavenge from the lions' leftovers. Next, let's consider the existence of the elephant graveyard, another scenario that would be nearly impossible in the real world. If we consider the elephants as having been a faction vying for power in the past, like the hyenas were in this movie, the elephant graveyard as a whole makes much more sense, as an apartheidistic state wouldn't hesitate to cut down a revolt from the lower classes. This being said, hyenas were entirely missing from the second movie, and after the events of the first movie, hyenas as a whole easily could have been exiled, or worse. What it comes down to is that if you play nice and go along with it all, your species is essentially farmed for food by the lions. And if not, Does this all seem like a bit much? Perhaps, but that's up to you to decide. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.